Excellency Mr. Amadou Ba, Prime Minister of the Republic of Senegal, Your Excellencies, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank Group, ladies and gentlemen. And over the last 3 days, this Feed Africa Summit has been a whirlwind of activity that will soon come to a close with a windfall of results. And I'm gonna get to that in just a moment, but as Her Excellency Commissioner Sako said, I'd like to thank His Excellency Mr. Macky Sall, the President of the Republic of Senegal, and the President of the African Union and the Chair of the African Union, as well as the government of Senegal for their tremendous support and collaboration in co-hosting this event with the African Development Bank Group. I would also like to thank His Excellency Mr. Moussa Faki and also African Development Bank Group President Akinwumi Adesina for his energy and inspiration that made this summit happen. So we know that there's been an unprecedented number of heads of states, ministers, and dignitaries that joined us for real conversations about transforming Africa's agricultural agenda. There were working sessions about converting that political will into demonstrable and also measurable progress. In 48 hours, Dakar 2 hosted 41 presidential boardrooms. Heads of state or their designated representative chaired the discussion of presidential food and agriculture delivery compacts. Many of these boardrooms were so full that all of the chairs were taken. There was standing room only, people were standing in the back, and they worked late into the night. That shows the interest, the energy behind these boardrooms and the results achieved at this summit. They presented detailed plans to mobilize public and private funding, drive regulatory reform, and importantly, to establish presidential delivery councils to ensure action, accountability, and more. We saw a concerted effort by African leaders to move agriculture to the center of the stage for financing of national budgets, with Senegal, Mozambique, and Madagascar committing to increase the percentage of agriculture budgets above the CAADP target of 10%. And most of the compacts provided concrete figures of increasing of budgets to agriculture. To give some examples, the government of Kenya committed to de-risking irrigation investments through water purchasing agreements. The government of Zimbabwe committed to building 35 dams in the next 5 years, capable of irrigating 45,000 acres. That is political will in action. We had ministers attending boardrooms of other countries to identify opportunities for cross-border investment, trade, and cooperation. While Nigeria detailed its roadmap to developing special agro-industrial processing zones, the Democratic Republic of Congo unveiled plans for digital farmer registration platforms. And it was my pleasure to moderate the Tanzania Compact, where the country launched initiatives in its boardroom to cut its wheat deficit, by 90%. There's also Zambia, which committed to reducing corporate tax for all agricultural enterprises. The private sector showed up as well, with commitments to purchase increased production realized by the compacts and by building fertilizer production facilities on the continent. Development partners also demonstrated strong support to realize these compacts. Again, just a few of examples demonstrating steps heading concretely in the right direction. We are well on the path towards a sustainable agricultural transformation for the continent. And as we come to the closing in the coming speeches of Dakar 2, I ask that we take home something that the African Development Bank President Akinwumi Adesina said at the opening of the summit. Africa cannot eat potential. The commitments made, the detailed plans, accountability mechanisms put in place mark a critical step forward in Africa's ambition to feed itself, and indeed the world. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the work does not end when the lights go off in this conference hall. It's the beginning of a collaboration and a process that must, in short order, deliver the resources Africa needs to feed itself. Thank you.